it took so much endurance that I didn't consider to like take this from nothing to finished. And now I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna do this again, I have to really I have to really want to do it.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Aljets, and today I am speaking to someone behind a game that I've been super excited about, and now that it's out, I'm just having a blast with it. It's Heartworm. Vincent, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm great, John. How are you?
You know, I would be a whole lot better if I was playing your game right now, but instead I'm talking to you. So, you know, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like with Heartworm, you very much wore your inspirations on your sleeve with this game. From Resident Evil to Silent Hill to Fatal Frame, there are elements of so many classic survival horror games all over this thing. There really is something for pretty much everybody to love if they're fans of the genre. What made you decide to go with such a definitively retro style for the game as opposed to sticking with a more modern look and feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were definitely a number of reasons why I went with the style, but I think the most important ones were just for development purposes, like time and resources wise. I couldn't make a game that looks like a modern AAA game. It's just not something that I have. It would take so long with the small budget that I had and everything. And then also at the same time, it's an artistic choice. Like as far as the visuals go, like I grew up playing those games, Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Sorry, my cat is of course going to come here now. Yeah, and I just have a lot of fond memories of that style visually, and also like gameplay wise. Things were a little bit more simple then, and I tried to mirror that in Heartworm. So yeah, I think they had the formula right in a lot of ways, and I wanted to just like draw inspiration from them for that.
So with a game like this that has such a strong stylistic choice, I am always a little bit curious if the narrative was affected by that choice, or if that choice helped to in some way, like, or if the narrative in some way helped you to make that stylistic choice, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I think it was a little bit of both. I think it helps that I wouldn't say the game is like terrifying. Like I think it's not like a in your face horror game. There's not any like heavy gore or like jump scares or anything like that. There's like a little bit here and there, but like I think the atmosphere and the ambiance are the strong points, and I think that the art style really helps sell that, because I think it's not very like real life doesn't like look very scary on a regular basis. Like sometimes when like the fog is really thick outside, you're like, oh, or like if you're in a like inclement weather event or something, like, but with like the low fidelity style of everything, I feel like almost anything can look scary if it just doesn't look quite right. So I think that was like very helpful in the process of putting this thing together. And also just like in like furthering the narrative, I think I think it the art style lends itself very well to like what I was trying to do.
Now that actually is a perfect segue into another question that I have, which is something that has stood out to me, and something that actually my buddy Esh like was insistent that I asked you about, are the actual environments in this game. Because there are some of your like very like run of the mill, standard, like something you would see in life. Like my mind immediately goes to the house at the opening that feels like some place that you could actually go. But then there are some places throughout this game where our protagonist Sam finds herself that are very otherworldly, very weird, very strange, very abstract. What were some of the ones that were the most interesting to you to design, and where did you kind of get the ideas for some of those places?
A lot of them were inspired by real life. The abandoned house in the beginning is a real abandoned house that I had explored like 10 years ago when I was in that phase of my life. and obviously with some creative liberties taken, but I really that the street, the in the neighborhood, the deli, like all of those places are kind of like places that I kind of just plucked out of my upbringing, basically. And even the wilderness chapter, like I really like drawing from the places that I'm familiar with, because then I like can take them and I can do the weird stuff to them. I have like a baseline to go off of, and then I'm like, oh, but I know I want to try and like evoke X feeling here, so I'm gonna twist this in some way to make it not look quite right, or whatever. And just for the record, a lot of the I did all the level design, and I did quite a few of the blockouts I did all the blockouts, but as far as the actual art goes, filling out all of that was one of my team members, Michael. He would like, basically I would make like a not so great version of what it needed to look like, and he would, like, anything I gave him, he would make it look 1,000 times better than what I had done. And yeah, so he did an amazing job with that. I just have to shout him out here really quick while we're talking about it. But yeah, a lot of real life inspiration, and then a lot of just like kind of like dreams are a big inspiration for me. Just like surreal media in general, like trying to like think outside the box. Yeah.
Now you did mention one of your team members there before the recording started. We did talk a little bit about how you started this project as a solo developer, but then you brought in team members later on when you needed help. What was that shift like, going from doing everything yourself to having help?
It's hard. Running a team is very difficult. And I knew it was going to be difficult going into it. But I don't think I really, I don't think I really could comprehend like how many, or just like how much time and how much coordination needs to happen to like get a team working together. And they all did, they did great. I think we did, I'm very happy with how we ended up, but going from solo to a team is like, it's a whole different ballgame. Like everyone is, they're really good at what they do, but also at the same time, now you have to like coordinate how, like, okay, this has to get done first, and then we can do this, and so on and so forth, and just very, very complicated. So I would say it was really difficult, but yeah, like again, like we got it out there, so ultimately I'm happy with how it went.
And
yeah.
you worked with Dread XP on the release of this game, which Dread XP, to me, I kind of look at them as they are for indie horror games what Blumhouse is for indie horror cinema in a lot of ways. At least that seems to be the way that they're kind of positioning themselves. How was working with them, and did that experience shape the development of the game at all?
Yeah, they were great. I think I had actually had a different publisher in the beginning of this process, and things just didn't work out, unfortunately. And Dread, they actually picked us up during a signing freeze. They weren't writing, or they weren't putting on any new games on at that time, and they took a chance on me, and it was fantastic because they were invaluable. Like they did QA, they helped with production. Like they were just like, a lot of the stuff that I was learning on the way, they had already, they've done this before, so they helped, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without Dread. And it is really cool to be on their roster because they have so many other cool titles that I just feel grateful to be like sitting next to on the list, So
now that does kind of make me a little bit curious, because unlike many of the other indie devs that I've spoke to in these interviews, your game is actually out. Like it is out to the public. People can go and buy it. When I shout out your Steam link later on, I'm not going to be telling people to go wish list. I'm going to be telling people to go buy it. How has release been for you? Like, how has the community reaction to the game? Like, how has it turned out?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's better than I could have ever hoped for it to be, really. Like, it's, I think, like, I picked a genre that is divisive in a lot of ways, due to the control scheme or the retro style visually, or even like I regret comparing it to, or not comparing, but like obviously we talked about my inspirations being like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, which are like two of the greatest game series that have ever been created. Obviously, I'm not going to like make something that is comparable to them, and most people understand that, but some people are like, you said it was, like whatever. It's like, yeah, but like I'm not Capcom, I'm not Konami, like I'm just a guy. Like I made this game in my living room. Like I don't know. Like all that aside, though, like critic reviews are pretty good, and Steam and like player reviews are like over 90% positive. That's like, you really can't ask for anything better than that. Like obviously, if we sold like 1 million copies on day one, I'd be pretty happy. But that's like, there's no chance of that happening. So like, this is the second best case, and I'm really happy. I'm glad people like it. And yeah, so I think overall, a little less worried about release now that it's happened. I think it's gone pretty well.
Well, I will say that I've spoken to quite a few people who have gotten a chance to check it out, either the demo or the full game, and everybody who I've talked to has had nothing but good things to say about the game.
That's awesome.
Honestly, of the indie games that I've played so far this year, I think this is the first one that I feel legitimately has a shot at indie game of the year.
Wow,
I think it could do it, at least a nomination.
Thank you. Sure, I'll take it.
Now that this game is out in the wild and the players can actually go and check it out, which you absolutely should, have you thought at all about the future? Like, have you thought about a next game, be it Heartworm 2 or something else completely different?
Yeah. I've had I have a lot of ideas, it's, and I think like anyone does, it's a matter of like, which one has like the most juice that I can go with and like make it, because that's the other thing, is like all of this it took so much endurance that I didn't consider to like take this from nothing to finished. And now I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this again, I have to really I have to really want to do it. So I have a couple that I'm floating around. I don't think it's going to be Heartworm 2. I'm kind of over that story for now. Like, I'm not like, I have ideas of how I could like revisit, but like for now, I kind of want to do something different. I think it's going to be in the same vein. I really like telling like a narrative story. I like keeping it kind of like low key, and like I think I was a little too on the nose in some parts in Heartworm, and I kind of want to pull back for that in the next one. But yeah, something narrative focused. I really like fixed cameras, so maybe it'll be another fixed camera game, but if I want to make money, I'll probably not do that. Yeah, I don't know. I have a few ideas that I'm rolling with right now, and I am like in the process of like trying to get a prototype ready, basically to pitch the next one. Yeah, so I don't want to give too many, because anything could change, but the gears are turning. So yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be doing my journalistic duty if I didn't poke a little bit to see if I could get a little bit of something. But I'm excited to see whatever you have next. What is a lesson from developing Heartworm that you learned that you're going to take forward into the next game?
I could this could be a very long list, I think.
Hit me with whatever you want.
I think the most like the one that I need to probably like keep in mind the most is that when you're like working on something, or any creative project, or just anything really, like when you're spending time making something, trying to reach a goal, even when you're like an inch away from the finish line, it doesn't feel like you're there. Or it doesn't feel enough, or like whatever, like, and I think I just have to remember like in the future that I'm like, you're too close to it to accurately be able to perceive how someone who isn't close to it will perceive it. And and yeah, I think that's just really hard. Like, because there were so many times I was like, oh, like I know where everything is. Like, this is so easy. Or this is so, and the game is easier than I meant it to be. But that's beside the point. Like, it's just like, or like, the story is like whatever. It's like, there's it's just like in every aspect I could find a way to be like, this isn't enough. But like, that's not what it is like to a fresh set of eyes. So I think I just need to be a little less concerned about how I feel about it and more concerned with how, like, someone who is playing it for the first time is going to feel about it.
That kind of takes me back to, I remember hearing a story, the game Alien Resurrection on PS1 is like a pretty difficult first person survival horror game, but the developers were really worried that they were making like a super easy game because they could just blast through it with a pistol, no problem, and like not struggle at all. So they were like, oh man, should we make this game harder? Meanwhile, people who have played it can attest that it's actually like a really difficult game. So that definitely is an important lesson that I think a lot of people, regardless of where they are in their game development journey, should definitely learn. I'm going to leave you with this one last question here. We all love games. I feel like we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't passionate about the medium. And so, we gotta show some love for all the games out there. So besides your own, which of course everyone should go check out. I've said that already multiple times and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to shout that from the rafters. Besides your own, what is a game, be it indie or otherwise, that you feel like not enough people are talking about that you think people should go check out?
I mean, there are, I think if I'm going to split it into, I'm going to split this answer into indie and not indie, I think, because I think that's the only fair way to do this for me. I just think there are a lot of indie games coming up, specifically in the like survival horror bubble, that I think people like, they just need more eyes on them. Like, I'm really lucky that Heartworm got the attention that it got for whatever reason, but there are people who, like, I look at what they're doing, they have like, I don't know, like 1,000 followers on Twitter or something, or, whatever. And like, it's, but like, I'm looking at their work and I'm like, this is crazy. This is so good. Like, how are people not talking about this? Like, so I think in general, like, I know maybe this is kind of a cop-out answer, but like look for indie games, like, and I'm not talking about like, like the hyper commercialized ones, like people who like really care about this stuff and are out there struggling for like years to try and make their like, whatever, their dream come to fruition. Like, that stuff, there's a lot of it out there, and a lot of it is really, really good, and no one knows about it. So like troll, I don't know, like low review numbers on Steam or whatever, like however you can, like find the stuff that like people aren't playing, because it's there and like you just don't see it. Like, that's my advice or my opinion in the indie side of things as far as what to play. I don't know. I mean, anything I would say otherwise is like, I just still play really old games. That's like I don't like, I'm trying to think of like the newest like thing that I've played that I think people should play that's underrated, but
even if you think it's a well-known game, like if there's something that you feel like people don't talk about anymore,
Yeah, I think, I mean, I really like I miss when this used to happen, or I guess it still happens, but I think to a lesser extent. But like when like a really popular game comes out and then like all the knockoffs like of that game come out. And I've been really into Martian Gothic Unification.
Yeah.
From like the PlayStation 1 days. It's just a Resident Evil knockoff, but it's in space. And and you like
there. I'm literally looking at it.
That's people know about it, but I just feel like it never really there's lots of gems from that era that get talked about, like Kudelka and like just like Mizurna Falls, like random stuff that like people like go crazy over. But like Martian Gothic, I feel like it's so good, and it's just like everything. It's in space. Like, I love space. Like, there's like a very high percentage chance that like my next game is going to take place in space or underwater. It's going to be one of those places. They're basically the same thing to me. So it's like,
effectively.
Yeah, but yeah, Martian Gothic. Like, go find a way to play it if you haven't. That's my to the audience. That's you obviously. The fact that you have a copy is actually that's amazing.
It upsets me. Like that copy upsets me because it's disc only, and like for the sake of collecting, I'm like, I wish, but I can't find the case anywhere. At
yeah,
least none of like the local
okay.
shops, because I don't want to go on eBay unless I can absolutely have to.
Yeah,
But
I do have the case version.
that game, like it's. I want to be clear, at least my opinion on Martian Gothic. It's not a good game
Sure.
by like any stretch, but
I didn't say that.
It's a fun one at the very least. I always, whenever you're talking about like the sort of like weird knockoffs of games, I always recommend people play a game called Darkstone on the PS1 that is kind of like a Diablo like it basically just is Diablo, but on the PS1, which is funny because Diablo released on the PS1, but that's the one that I always recommend to people. So like sometimes checking out some of those weird like knockoffs or clones is a good way to go.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's been wonderful talking to you, Vincent. This is something that when like as I said, I was looking forward to Heartworm for a while, and I was like, man, I hope that I could get a chance to talk to him and sort of pick his brain a little bit about the development. And I'm glad that we managed to make it happen.
Yeah, me too.
So with that being said, everyone should jump over to Steam. You should check out Heartworm. Go ahead, play the demo, see if it's your bag. And if it is, pick it up. It's not expensive at all, which is, I think, brilliant. So with all that being said, Vincent, do you have any final parting words that you want to say to the audience before I let you go?
No, just to everyone who has supported already, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and yeah.